Hey guys, so today we are going to still be working on ways to get you more efficient in the time that you have, that we all have the same every single day, to actually get you out to your horses. So today you're going to be kind of focusing more on your spouse, your partner, your other half, whatever you want to call that. Because of course when you're working as a team, you want to know what the other person needs as well. So yesterday we were talking about, the list of your stuff and if you're feeling overwhelmed and being able to ask for help. And Lauren came in, she talked to us about creating healthy boundaries. But just as important as you needing help, it's really nice when you can actually bring your partner in on the weekly schedule and actually talk together and make a plan. So this is something again that I learned from my friend Teresa. And my husband and I have actually just started doing this where we're sitting down at the table. We look at our week, Monday through Friday, and we talk about all the things that I want to do and all the things he wants to do and what we need to do. And then we can actually start working together and figuring out what we want to do. Because when he has all the stuff that he wants to do and I have all the stuff that I want to do, but we don't actually communicate with it, then, when he gets a free moment, he's like, well, hey, why don't you go ride? But I'm like, but I've got all this other stuff that has to get done because I didn't adjust my schedule, and so then you're just butting heads and it causes some major confrontation, at least it can. And so when you actually start taking that 10, 15 minutes to write down all of the necessary things that need to happen, appointments, kids' activities, all that kind of stuff, and then focusing on stuff that he needs to get done for his work. If he farms or ranches, it's not the typical, 9 to 5 situation. Then, there's going to be times where he's going to be really busy. And, maybe he won't have that access or the ability to help you so much around the home. But when you know about it, you can plan for it. And when you can plan for it, you don't have all of these unsaid expectations of what you want your spouse to be doing and then feeling upset when they don't happen. And so that has been really key for me, is learning to not have to not have expectations on how I feel like my week should go, but not having that conversation with my spouse at the same time. It's very unrealistic to actually get the time that I want with my horses if I'm not actually going to take the time to sit with my husband and be like, hey, I really want to ride on this day, but what do you need to do? What can we do together so that this can actually happen? What do you want to do for fun this week? What can I do to help you get what you want as well? And so you're really working as a team. So it's going to really help, I think, create a better bond with you and your partner. But it's going to also get you guys both what you want, whether you're riding together. Maybe your partner isn't into horses but they like archery, or they like whatever, right? But then they get their time, you get your time, but you're still getting all your stuff done. And so you can see how this is just going to create a lot more harmony in your life and a lot more, what's the word that I'm looking for? Just more, I guess, harmony. I guess that's the word that I'm looking for. It doesn't really, nothing really explains it much better than that. When you can actually work together and focus on what needs to get done, what you want to get done, and then how to get that fun stuff actually happening. So I'm going to share a list, just to kind of for topics on what you guys, just to maybe help the conversation if you feel like you're not really sure what you should be talking about. I'll share a list and things that you guys should maybe make sure you're on the same page with. And I really encourage you to start doing this like every Sunday evening or every Monday morning, however that looks in your world, and plan out your week together. And then, of course, you can take the time on your own to add in all the little details. So if you want to do housework Monday morning, it's not like you need to sit there with your spouse and taking up all that time telling him all the things you need to do, or, yard work or whatever. You can just be like, no, Monday morning is housework. You can figure out those details by yourself later. But as a team, you're going to get the main big picture of your week figured out. And then he can do the tiny details by himself. You can focus on your tiny details by yourself. But then you're actually going to be on the same page and working together and focusing towards the same goals, whatever that looks like in your relationship. Okay, so again, there is going to be a PDF in a second post for today, and make sure you check that out. So you can either just open it, download it, you can print it, whatever works good for you. And yeah, report back your thoughts on all of this. Like, have you ever made a plan with your spouse? Is this brand new to you? Are you excited for it? Does it make you nervous to kind of talk about the stuff with your spouse? I'd really love to know. I know for us, it's something we kind of talked about doing for a long time, but we never actually did it. And it kind of took us really button heads for a while, having disagreements about the stuff that we were finding like, okay, this is ridiculous. We are so disorganized between what I want, what he wants, that it was causing pointless arguments. And so we finally just bit the bullet. We sat down and we did it. And I think we're both really enjoying the results from it. And it's exciting. And I'm excited to continue doing this, from here on out. So anyway, I encourage you to share with us what you're feeling towards this. And even if you actually get to sit down with your spouse, come back and tell us how it went. Was it way better than you expected? Or are you super excited to see the changes that are going to be able to happen within the time that you have? Just let us know. All right, guys. So right after this, I'm going to be adding on a clip from my friend Teresa, and it's just going to be a little snippet of what she shared with us in my coaching group that I think is going to be really helpful. That she's just got some really good insight. When I seen your website and your layout and what you do, I was so intrigued because I think everybody struggles with time management, getting their self-care in, making themselves a priority. And so I feel so lucky to have met you through all of this.
In 2010, I crashed and burned with major depression. I was plucked out of the workforce for 3 years.
Oh, wow.
Couldn't work.
Yeah.
As somebody who had, managed a hospice agency that we owned, at the same time managed a care home. I had so many balls juggling in the air, and I was always able to manage it. And all of a sudden, I just couldn't work.
Yeah.
Couldn't do anything really for 3 years. So then I recovered from that, and it was a process, though, 3-year process of learning self-care, learning how to take care of myself and put myself first, so that I would be able to serve other people. Now, the other thing that happened with that, I do think God in his wisdom kind of probably disconnected a couple of wires that had me so high strung. So I think I've been blessed by that, because I have a lot more patience. I'm not irritable. My kids and everybody's, and I feel it myself. I like myself a lot more as a person now. But anywho, so a big part of my healing was to learn how to prioritize and how to live with intention. And that is probably my biggest stress reliever, is to identify what do I value the most and live in alignment with that. Because when I live in alignment with what I value most, it affects every decision I make about how I spend my time. And here's the thing, when we talk about this concept of spending time, we don't get it back.
Yeah.
We spend it.
Yeah.
It's truth. And so we get one shot at this thing, and what we choose to do with it is all up to us. And I can remember a time in my life when, yes, I valued my family the most, but when we owned our own hospice agency, I burned the candle at both ends. I was there at important family events and things, but was I fully present?
Yeah.
Probably not, probably not. And so, now at this station in my life, it's just totally different. And I say I value my family most. I say I value my marriage the most. And those are the things I carve out time for first, not last, but first. And so my life reflects, it's an outward reflection of what I value. So that to me is just the most peace-giving thing that I can recommend anybody.
Yeah, for sure. I think so often our go-to for carving out time first is, especially for the housewife, or the stay-at-home mom, is the chores.
Right.
It's getting the house clean, getting it tidy, the bathrooms, the laundry. It's not, from this time to this time, I'm going to sit at the kitchen table and color with my girls. you know,
Right.
going to have that bonding time. It's okay. Well, I need to get this done and this done and this done and this done. And then, eventually when my
Mm-hmm.
kids go crazy and they're demanding my attention, okay, fine. I'll squeeze this 5 minutes in where I color with you until you're happy. And then I'm going to sneak off and keep doing my work, and so that doesn't feel very great either. Right.
Mm-hmm.
Because we're not connecting and they're frustrated and I'm frustrated. And so that's so important for sure.
And that is the really hard thing is that, as women, as mothers, we juggle so much. I mean, I'm a mom of 5. All of my children are grown and they've flown the coop. They come back every once in a while. But I remember that time and it was hard. And there was even a time when I was a single mom that really just, my time was so scarce. And how do I want to spend that? What do I want them to remember about our weekend? Was it me just kind of beating them over the head? We got to clean the house. Or do we want to go to the park, and have a good time and make some memories together? So how do you live intentionally? I want to kind of chat a little bit about that because intentional living, it's more than just saying, hey, I value this the most. It's kind of looking at, okay, well, here we are at the end of the year. We're looking at 2021 coming at us, okay, like a freight train that's coming. And one of the coolest things I like to do is sit down with my husband for 20 or 30 minutes and we do our annual planning. Mm. If you've never done an annual plan, this is a phenomenal experience, and I recommend it for people who are single, marrieds, wherever you are in this journey, because 365 glorious days are coming our way. How will you fill them? Now is the time to figure that out. And this is part of intentional living. And so when we sit down and do our annual planning, we think about, I'm blessed to have my parents still. So how many times are we going to see my parents? Mm-hmm. How often will we visit our siblings? What kind of hobbies are we going to try this year? What home remodel might we attempt? What are we thinking we'd like to do to the house? What are our financial goals? So we get on the same page about all of this stuff, but also, where are we going to vacation? What kind of fun are we going to do this year? How often am I going to connect with my girlfriends? What kind of crafting will I do? We look at everything, and it's surprising. It only takes about 30 minutes, but it's so fun. And so how I look at it is this: come December 31st of 2021, do I want to be feeling like, well, another year come and gone? Or do I want to look back and say, holy smokes, look at the memories we made this year. Look at how we restored ourselves. Look at how we nurtured ourselves and the things we got done that we didn't know how we'd get them done, but we just did. That is really, really fun.
That is really, really cool. And it's kind of funny because it really reminds me of real life manifesting in a way. You know what I mean? Because you're putting it out there in the universe that this is what we're going to do,
Yeah.
So, but it's done as a couple, because a lot of the time manifesting, I've always heard is referred to as like, this is something that I'm going to do for me, and my husband can do something for him, and and I'll say stuff to my children, but but to do it with a spouse at the same time, that's a really cool, really.